Hello, everyone, and welcome to Drag Race TV LA. I am one of your hosts, 123 Jackie B. With me, as always, Lorayne Love and Ollie Drennan.
Hello.
Hi.
And joining us from the pride of Columbus, Ohio. Ba, 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 ba.
Ba, ba, ba.
Hi, how are you?
Thank you so much.
Great. Thank you for joining us. Hello, everyone, and welcome to Drag Race TV
Sorry,
LA. I am one of your hosts, 123 Jackie.
All right. Sorry, that was me. Sorry. Jackie, you're just haunting me all over. Thank you guys for joining us for Drag Race TV LA in our new home on YouTube, formerly Afterbuzz TV. We are here every Sunday at 3 o'clock, recapping every week RuPaul's Drag Race season 13, or whichever season is airing at the time, which now is a 365-day-a-year job that we didn't know we were going to have. Nina, thank you so much for joining us. We may get Jayla may pop in later. She had some issues at home, so she may pop in with us later. Thank you to everybody who's joining us. I did write in the chat room, tell us where you're watching from. If you didn't do that yet, please do. I saw that we have somebody in Guam watching, from Guam, from the UK, from Maine. I know Columbus, Ohio is in the house. I saw Chris Rudder in there. Me and Nina love you, Chris.
Love you, Chris.
Thank you guys all so much. We are can be found on social media at our initials, DRTVLA, and then on YouTube, Drag Race TV LA. But if you're watching us on here, you know where we're at on YouTube, or wherever podcasts are found. You can find us. We did finally reach our 300 subscribers. Yay. Thank you for everybody on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, you may have noticed that in my spare time, I added a little subscribe button. I think it's over here. You can click on that and subscribe while you're watching. So overall, what did we think of the episode this week? Let's start with our returning champion, Miss Nina West.
It's crazy because I got to see it after doing it, which was an experience, right? Because you don't know what they're gonna, you don't know what what you did that they're gonna show.
Yeah.
So seeing it was the same experience I think I had live. It was like, yeah. So but it was really fun to see, obviously, what led up to the main stage challenge, because we weren't there for any of that.
Right.
They keep us separate. We were hidden, and then we walked out and we did the main stage challenge, and we're roasted and toasted and sliced and diced.
Yes. Ollie, what did you think of the episode?
Oh, sorry.
I just want to shout out the chat real quick. Simon is from Paris, France. Jesse Drew from Maryland. I saw Mexico City from Mariana. So thank you guys so much for joining us. Oh, Slovakia, Tina. Thank you guys. You guys are awesome.
Girl.
International. I love you guys. It was a great episode. I love it when returning queens come in. We saw Nina, obviously. And like, how was that for you though, Nina? Like coming in not only as a returning queen, but also like following COVID guidelines.
Yeah, so it was one of the only things I've done during this pandemic, and it was actually quite nerve-wracking. We filmed it in August, and so that was really like in the middle of the height of the pandemic, and I was surprised that we were doing it. I was thrilled they asked me, but it was challenging. I quarantined for 2 weeks, and I had a COVID test before I left. When I landed, it was like every other day while I was at my hotel, I had a COVID test. I had a COVID test on set, and I had a COVID test when I left. So it was like everything was just really locked down. And I was like, I was so excited to be asked just because it was to do something, right, Ollie? Like I haven't done anything. So
Get out of the house.
But it was really, I think I was also relieved to know how seriously they were taking it. I mean, like, it was very serious. And we had face shields and masks, and we couldn't move on set without being covered or without being distanced. So, I mean, I do want to applaud them for giving us entertainment during this time period, but I also want to applaud them for keeping everybody safe. That was pretty well done.
Great.
It was nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I can imagine. Jackie, what do you think overall of the episode?
I loved it. What I really liked about this episode was the idea of doing a roast of nice girls. It's kind of that, because a roast is like a mean thing. So I was excited just to see how that would turn out, because, you think of like, oh, okay, like how, when you're a nice girl, like, how are you going to take this? Are you going to be roasting them back? So I was really excited just to see that portion of it.
Great. And also to everybody, we will definitely get some time at the end to ask Nina some questions. So don't think that we're like not wanting to know what Nina's going on. We're going to work and do what we're here to do. And then we're going to get to Nina, and we'll do it quickly so we can get to as many of your questions and everything as we can. So stick around to the end. Also, we'll be talking about at the end, it looks like there may be a new romance on the books and for season 13. So we'll stick around so we can talk about that. We'll have news and gossip, quote of the week, fan of the week. We'll be doing all that. So stick around for that later in the show. Let's previously on RuPaul's Drag Race, just so we know where we've left off. It was the 8th elimination of the season. The Maxi challenge was the marketing challenge, where the queens had to brand their own soda pop. And I would do the pop, but I don't know how. And the runway category was Beast Couture, which Simone and Rose co-won. And then Tina Burner sashayed away in a lip sync against Utica Queen. 6 queens remain. So that brings us to this episode. So after the elimination, I thought we should talk about this because it seemed a little, well, I'll say very Utica. When they came back from the elimination, she seemed very, Nina, you can talk about this too. Like, she seemed very like, I feel bad. Tina should have stayed. She deserved it more. But then it was like a complete 180. I was like, no, I'm happy to be here. I love lip syncing. This is amazing. Nina, what did you think of that moment? I always find that weird. So
I think it's weird. Well, I mean, I think it's weird when people are like, I really want to be in the bottom so I can show, like, I want to really lip sync so I can show them what I can do. Yeah. Girl, yeah, no, that's dumb. You don't want to be at the bottom so you can show them how you can lip sync.
Come to the bar, girl. Come to the bar.
Exactly. Come to the bar. There's going to be plenty of opportunities when you're on the road to show people what you can or can't do.
And if you're in the top 4, you still lip sync now. So it's like, you'll get that.
The opportunity. And I think it was a really weird, like, I'm really sad they sent her home. But how did you think I did? It was kind of, it was like pandering. And it's, there's something else that happens in this episode and Untucked where I was like, we can talk about it later, but it's like asking people for their opinion.
Yeah.
And then when people give you when people give you the opinion you don't want to hear it, then you get defensive. Like,
what did you ask for? Right.
Don't ask people what they think if you don't want to hear it.
Yeah. Ollie or Jackie, what did you think of that?
The episode. Sorry.
For Utica?
That moment.
Well, I think Utica is a Gemini. So like it rings true. She is a true blue Gemini, and it's funny. Like, she's just feeds her quirk. So it's just another memorable Utica moment, which we'll talk about more memorable Utica moments as we get on with this show.
Jackie, anything to add?
It's weird because even though she was saying later on, like, oh, I really want to be here, I want to make my moment or whatever, in that moment where she said that she felt really bad about still being there, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I think she said something to the effect of like, I felt like I've done what I came here to do or something like that. I don't recall what it was, but there was something that she said in the beginning where I was like, I think she's just given up, and to me, even though she was kind of saying out of the side of her mouth, I still want to be here, I felt that the ringing thread through this was like, I have given up, because her approach to the roast seemed to be a giving up approach. Mm-hmm. I mean, maybe that truly is her sense of humor, but I have a hard time buying it when the judges are telling you something like, this is my criticism, maybe you should try something else. And she's just like, nah, whatever. It like literally didn't take any criticism from the judges. And I understand that could be stubborn-headedness, but on a certain level, I feel like that also is a level of giving up, because you're just like, I don't want to try anything else.
I don't know if she gave up. I mean, if we look at her season run, when she did Snatch Game, I mean, her jokes weren't, they weren't kind. Like there wasn't, I think there was some mean-spiritedness in some of that as well. And so I don't know if, or her sense of humor is just maybe different from mine or per se. But,
or anybody's.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't think she gave up. I think she has, and this is just an opinion, and it's probably gonna get me in trouble. I think she has.
That's what we do here.
I mean,
You're on the right show. You're on the right show.
I think she is a young queen, and her youth is exposing itself by she thinking that she knows what she's doing. And why would I listen to Loni Love, who's been doing comedy for 30 years? Loni doesn't know me. She doesn't know my comedy. She doesn't know my rhythm. Yeah. No, girl, Loni knows. So you should like Michelle knows. Like Michelle's a judge on this show. Those are your judges telling you not to do. And I think she thought, rather than giving up, I think she thought, no, this is what I'm doing, and I know it's right. And I think that's youth. I think her youth got in the way.
I agree 1,000%. I still think about if I were on when I first submitted for season 2 versus now, I would have been so obnoxious. Like I would have been doing shit like that. Like,
oh my God, yeah.
You don't know Lorayne, blah, blah, blah.
100.
Yeah. So let's get into the mini challenge.
I also thought, oh, sorry. I was just, building off of that. If she had consciously made this decision, it might have made more intellectual sense if there was an audience there. Like maybe she thought, oh, well, the audience will like something different, but it's like, your audience are the judges that are telling you to do something different, and probably a handful of other people, and that's it. So you've played these jokes presumably to like already a portion of your audience, and if it's not playing to them, like that would be in my head, but that's because I'm a Virgo. So I'm like, this exact thing is not working out in this exact way, so I should plan it this way because I don't have an actual audience, and I've already tried it with this audience and they're not reacting to it,
I mean, I will say this. I don't know, Nina, if you've done stand-up other than on the show. I mean, hosting is its own beast.
Yeah.
But like stand-up, which I've done, is one of the hardest things on the planet to do. So the fact that you have someone like Loni Love who has been doing it, and I will say this, I'll talk about it more later when we get into the challenge, but like I feel like this season, they're starting to be genuinely more helpful. I feel like in past seasons, sometimes it was to get them off their game to make for better TV, but I genuinely feel, again, this season, I'm getting a lot more help where I feel like it's genuine help from the judges. So I feel like I wish she would have just embraced it, but we'll talk about it more in a minute.
But I think that's a good point though, because I think what you're seeing is you're seeing a show that is reacting to being filmed in quarantine. Yeah. And so you're still like, instead of having all these celebrity judges or celebrities come in and do like a Maxi challenge of this or that, it's the judges. Yep. And it's the contestants, which I really love because, like you said, we're getting more of a much broader stroke and approach to how these contestants can be successful in the game.
Yes, agree. Well, there's so much I have to say. I was going to say too is, Ollie and I just recapped Drag Race UK season 2, and again, like I want to watch a show like this, a competition show, where everyone is so good, you don't want anyone to go home. Like I wanted that roast to be kick butt. I don't want people to do bad. I genuinely don't. I want them to succeed. So I'm hoping that they are starting to see the benefits of everyone doing well and then just nitpicking to have to send people home. I think that makes for better TV than making people completely combust and like crash and burn. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, let's get into the mini challenge because I think this might be one of my favorite mini challenges ever. The girls had to do a live makeup tutorial on how to create the perfect glam selfie to feature the new Norvina palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills, doing it in pairs. One was the face and the other was the arms. Just to remind everybody, the teams were Got Mick and Utica, Simone and Olivia, and Rose and Candy. Let's start with Ollie. What did you think about this?
It was a lot of fun. It reminded me of the challenge in season 6 where I forget what the song they were doing, but they like were on each other. They like sat on each other and then like they would use the other legs. Do you remember that one?
Yeah.
Yes, make your heels stack. So like I love when they have to do like these ridiculous quirky things, and it was nice that like you saw like I loved the pairing of Gottmik and Utica. I think they killed it. And then it was a lot of fun. Like I love these types of challenges. But who's Norvina? Like who is that? I don't
She's the head of Anastasia
The name
Beverly
of the
Hills.
palette.
Okay.
She's a makeup design artist and she's brilliant. She's
okay. Because she looked like Paris Hilton. I'm like, oh my gosh, this girl's stunning. But it was cool to see her because she's obviously like the creator of Anastasia Beverly Hills. Okay, so it was just a fun challenge.
Jackie, what'd you think?
I loved it. I, like you guys, I thought it was a blast. In the past, they've had that one where they like sit on the feet and someone else has to be the feet and then someone else is the top. I always love stuff like that because I like the Muppets, and that's essentially all that the Muppets are like weird, disjointed hand situations that people are trying to figure out. And I think for the hands, like the person who had to be the hands had to be really expressive with their hands. So I found new creativities in the way that people could use their hands.
Nina West, would you have loved to do this challenge?
Oh, girl. Okay, I mean, it's like two things. This is what the show does really well. It's like a variety show dressed up as a reality competition show, and it made us laugh, and it was incredible, and it was fun. And secondly, poor Rose can't catch a break when someone else is painting her face.
So true.
Eating the makeup.
I genuinely was like laughing out loud and smiling like, I love that. Like it made me like, I want more of that. Like I really truly hope that they pay attention to how the audiences are responding to these things, because I mean, I would be content if this is in there with like Snatch Game every season. Everybody's got to do this because that shit was hysterical.
And they were all funny. I just remember them laughing at every single one of them. So I was like, oh, I wonder who's gonna actually win. And usually, like in the mini challenge, you figure maybe one or two who's gonna win. I didn't know who's gonna win this mini challenge.
I mean, I knew because they kind of set it up to who they were trying to get a win to. But so Rose and Candy were the winners. I am seeing a lot online though that people really thought, and I thought 1,000% got Mick and Utica were hands down the best in my opinion.
I did too. I mean, everybody was good. There was no bad, but
yeah. All right, so that was the mini challenge. All right, so the Maxi challenge this week was throwing the nice girls roast. The nice girls that they were roasting were our co-host, Miss Nina West, Heidi N Closet, who I actually watched the episode with, and Valentina, who I can give two shits about. Anyway, Rose and Candy got to choose the order because they won the mini challenge. And so let's talk a little bit about, I know Jackie, you love the preparation, the rehearsals, stuff like that. Did you think that Candy and Rose were smart about the lineup? Or do you think they should have done like an Ellie Diamond from UK and like really mixed it up? We'll start with Nina.
Oh gosh. No, don't start with me. Don't start with me.
Okay, Jackie, go
I
ahead.
can go. I was just like other people there were shocked that they were fighting with each other to be first and last. Usually in the comedy variety lineup, what we see is the opposite. We see where the two queens who get the chance to pick are saying, hey, well, I think I want to make myself second or second to last or somewhere in the middle because of the responsibility of those two positions. But Candy and Rose both had such confidence in themselves they were like fighting over slot 1. And then finally Rosé was like, okay, I can close this. And it worked out for them. So I say, if you know you're funny and you have the utmost confidence, it's a risk worth taking to say, I want to open or close, you know, because then you highlight yourself and people are like, yeah, remember when they came out with that like badass joke, or they closed with that joke that made me laugh so hard. You tend to remember those slots the most. So I think if you think you can knock it out of the park, they'll really remember you.
Well, I also think that, I never thought I'd be saying this, but I thought that Kandi was a little bit strategic, because I do think it's smart, and I always think this to myself, is if you go first, you don't have to worry about somebody stealing your joke, because that's always something for these that I'm always like, ooh, that's got to be hard to go last, because you better hope that nobody else used something that you came up with. I mean, I don't mind it so much if it gets repeated, if there's a different take on it. But I know that was at least her strategy. Ollie, what did you think of the order? Did you think it was fair? And
I like that you brought that up about stealing jokes, because I thought like, oh my gosh, someone should say something about Rent Live for Valentina, and that we heard that twice. So it was Kandi did it first, and then I think Gottmik did it second, which they were two different jokes.
Very different.
I like that you brought that up, but I thought it was interesting overall that it was like a pattern. So we had someone open, they were strong, and then after them, there was a weak performance, which I think Simone, and then it was a strong performance, which was Gottmik, or no, I don't know, but I noticed this pattern. It was like strong, weak, strong, weak, strong, weak in this particular episode. So yeah. I don't know. I enjoyed it. It was just so cut clear, I think, in this particular roast of who was in the top and who was in the bottom. And we already I feel like going into this episode, you already knew who was going to do well and who was going to kind of struggle, be on the struggle bus.
Yeah. Nina?
Yeah, I think, in previous seasons, when we've seen the ability to pick your spot, people really use it as a turning point for strategy. And I really was hoping we would get a little bit of that, right? It's such a bold move to put somebody is weak in one of those really tough spots, to really let them stand out and go, see, they're the bottom. I'm not in the bottom. Look how good I was.
Yeah.
But you're dealing with two people who have no shortage of confidence. Kandi's supremely confident. Rosé is very confident. It was no surprise to me. Once I started to see the conversation, I was like, right, this makes sense. One of them's opening, one of them's closing,
Yeah. I used to get this a lot actually in Columbus, Nina. People would say to me when I started doing drag, I always noticed that they put you after Marianne Brandt in the lineup. And they would go, why don't you hate having to follow her? And I was like, and I never noticed it. Like, I was like, do I? And they were like, yeah. And I was like, I mean, I'm going out. My thing always is, and Ahura said this on their season, ultimately, that's my 5 minutes. So if I'm confident in what I'm doing and I'm doing the best that I can do, I don't care who's before me, and I don't care. And I feel sorry for who's after me. Yeah, she said it. Yeah, she said it. But you know what I mean? Like, I do think that but I like what you said, how you said it, how you phrased it, Nina. It's like, well, yes, I'm playing the game, but my game is to show you that this person isn't as good as you think that they are. So
it's it's a strategic move. And I think one of the things we don't see a lot of on Drag Race, the regular season of Drag Race, that we do see on All Stars is strategy. Like, it's the game changes tremendously. And so I see in the comments someone added me, should Kandi feel or be confident? Of course Kandi should be confident. That's not what I'm saying. I think you don't misunderstand or try to change the conversation. What I'm saying is that Kandi is a very confident person, and she should be confident. And she took the lead, and she grabbed the balls, and she led with fierceness, and it paid off for her.
Well, I say that all the time on here too. I say, if you're doing drag, you're confident. Like, I said, I can pull out one of these photo albums and show you pictures. I look horrific, where Nina West should not have booked me for Denison University. And she did. And it was because I was confident, and I walked in the bar and I still thought I was great. I think the thing with the show is you have to be confident, but you also have to take criticism and play the game and learn how to be confident, but also, what did they used to say in my acting class? Dare to suck. Like, does that make sense? Like, just throw it out. Just do everything. There's something to be said about messing up. Everyone then thinks you're just more relatable, just do it,
Jayla said to pull it out. Pull out the album. Let's see the receipt.
Pull it out.
It's all tucked away. I can't pull it out. What?
Okay, we'll post it later.
Jayla is in the chat room, everybody. So be sure to
Hi, Jayla.
Say hi to Jayla. And no, Jayla, I do not like candy now. I was just agreeing with her statement. I can agree with her statement and not like her as a contestant. Okay, let's get that straight. Also, I thought it was interesting preparing for the challenge that Utica was very to Olivia's face, you got this, girl, you're gonna be amazing. And then literally cut to confessional, I'm really worried about Olivia.
She's been doing that all season. She's been doing that all season.
She has.
Like, that's not I think that's the, on my season, that was something Evie was so regularly calling out that it felt very familiar that was being brought to attention. On this season, it's very quiet. No one's kind of calling it. Well, they did in that one Untucked.
Yeah.
Initially, they said, I feel like there's a weird double standard here. You're saying one thing, and then your actions might say something else.
Right. And again, I said this earlier, I just want to reiterate it again. I really did feel like Loni and Michelle were giving good advice. I've had a hateful relationship towards Michelle since I joined AfterBuzz and started reviewing the show, just because there was a part of me, I think, that I felt like she was trying to sabotage people, or she was trying, I will say this too, and Jackie, you've been with me from the very beginning. Looking back on past episodes that I've even recapped, I can understand why I was annoying to people. Like, sometimes just shutting up is enough. Like, just don't say anything. Like, I'm starting to realize the power of quiet and silence as I get older. So I don't know if it's just because she's been doing the show for so long where she's starting to realize it doesn't matter if I scream and yell about leotards anymore. If I just help them and I just make this a better show, this is good for everybody. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm. I mean, a long time ago, we had Michelle on the AfterBuzz show as an audio guest. She called in.
Oh, nice.
And she's very sweet when you talk to her one-on-one. And I think I'm saying this because Michelle's a Virgo, I'm a Virgo. I get where she's coming from in the sense that she feels like her job is to critique the show, and what in her mind might come off as a sensible, reasonable critique, because some of these queens, like now the queens, like, because there's tours and everything that there wasn't in the beginning of the show, the queens know her more. She might even know some of these queens before they even get on Drag Race. So there's now more of an understanding of where these critiques are coming from, versus when you look at like season, I forget what season she joined. Was it like 3 or 4?
3.
3. When she started in the beginning, it kind of feels like, okay, this person, the queens don't even see her until she gets onto the runway. They're probably not as familiar with her as they are with RuPaul, obviously. So it seemed like the critiques were very biting, whereas I think it's a combination of her maybe revisiting, her critiquing techniques, because she actually knows a lot of these queens now. And maybe she went back and watched some of her performances. I mean, I always think of that, like Adore Delano, like crying on All Stars and then just quitting because Michelle's critique was really harsh, or it came off as really harsh.
Nina, you've experienced Michelle Visage. So
I've known Michelle. Yeah, I've known Michelle prior to my getting on Drag Race for a few years. And I'm very much a big fan of Michelle. I think she does see it as a competition reality show and not as anything more than that. And I think she does intend everything to lead with, and I think she's leading with love, or she wants people to be better. I don't think it is I don't think she's being harsh. And I think we're in such a weird like state of affairs when I know what I'm signing up for when I'm going to compete on a reality show, and I want to be better. I want to win it. So how do I win it? Not by being told what you're doing is fine. No, I need to be told this is wrong and this is wrong, and then hopefully I'm given the chance to correct it. And if I can't correct it and I'm sent home, then I know why I was sent home. You know, I think we have to. I would love to see a world where not everyone gets a participation ribbon, and
right.
You know, I want to see people really strive for it and really want it and really work hard for it. And I think that's what Michelle is trying to instill, because you're on a global platform. Yeah. And we see how people are reacting to all of the minutia of things rather than the bigger picture. And she's pointing out the minutia to try to fix it, and they should be given the opportunity. You know, like when you look ahead to the episode, Utica was given opportunity to fix it. Yeah. She made a choice not to. Yeah. She suffered the consequence. I mean, she said, that's harsh. That's, you know, I think that's too much. I just really think Michelle is trying to walk the line and the balance of it all. I really do. I think she means the best. I really do.
Yeah. Again, same with me on this, you know, in reference to what I was saying earlier about, you know, going back and watching myself on here, you know, is like, and I always said this, Jackie, you can tell, I mean, if I'm misremembering this, correct me, but I used to always say, and I still say, I get angry because I want it to be a great show. I'm not mad at, all I know is most of them, I don't really know, other than like Nina and Raven, like the people that obviously I've worked with, you know, and they on the show, it's hard for me to critique because I do have that, you know, place in my heart. And, you know, there may have been a time or two where I was like, I'm sorry, Nina, but I didn't like the runway. Which if it was somebody like Candy, I would have been like, no, trash, blah, blah, blah. And I get it. And I'm not saying that I'm perfect or anything like that, but I think I signed up to review a show and give my opinions as a female illusionist myself. So I can only say what I feel, and if that upsets people, you don't have to watch. I mean, that's kind of what this country's about. So, Ollie, did you have anything you wanted to add? I didn't get you in there.
Add about what? I'm sorry.
Of any of that, my love.
No.
Okay. Move along. I didn't want to feel like I was leaving you out of that conversation. All right, so let's get into the actual roast, the performance. Nina West on stage. I don't do it as Chase does it. Okay, so was Ru, Michelle, Loni Love, and Ross were the judges. Ru looked amazing, I think, as always. Obviously, Michelle didn't critique her for wearing a leotard. I was waiting for that to happen. So let's go through. You can talk about their runway because their look for the roast was the runway look. So if there's something you want to say about the runway look, throw that in there too. Let's go. I'll go through them in order of their performances. So first up is Miss Candy Muse. Would anyone like to go first?
I'll go first because you guys are gonna be shocked because all season I have been very underwhelmed and underimpressed by Candy and asking myself why she's still there, other than to keep drama within the plot. I thought she knocked it out of the park. I thought she hands down she was consistent with her humor. You know, there are some people that came out and they might have had one joke here or there that I really laughed out loud at, but I was laughing consistently the whole time. I thought she looked great. I know, like, I don't know which, like, the judges seem to have this thing against any flat hair. I think there's a difference between coming out in a wig that you shook from a box and then having a style of hair that just happens to be flatter. I thought that Candy actually styled her hair very nicely. I didn't think it felt like, oh, just this wig came out of a box flat, you know. I think it was purposefully flat. So I don't agree with that argument either. I thought, you know, she looked as great as she's ever looked. So I won't say this is the episode that made me a Candy fan, but I will say she deserved that win. That's what I'll say.
Okay. I'll go last. Ollie, do you want to give your thoughts on Miss Candy Muse?
Me, this is probably like the best Candy has ever looked on the runway. And it was a very simple like black dress. She was cinched, like she looked gorgeous. And I think she already wore that hair before, but I don't care. Like she really did look great. And she was obviously had the task of as the opener. I thought, to me, it was like a well-deserved win for her this week. Like point blank period. Like I really think that she had the best combination of, like, I think Rosé was so professional in her performance. I think Gottmik was just very personable, and I thought Candy had the best combination of being personable and professional. Like she was just herself. She was so natural. She didn't seem nervous. You know, I feel like I look at Candy and she came up first and she just seemed like she'd been doing this for years. So to me, I thought she just nailed it this week.
Miss Nina West.
You know, Candy's a host in New York City, and those abilities and those skills that she's cultivated by hosting really showed themselves on the challenge. Sitting there on the stage, I remember just being blown away by her set, not knowing how the rest of the competition went at that point. Blown away by her set, and it was very natural. And I thought she looked great. I thought she really looked beautiful. She was cinched, you know, that dress was like, as Ollie said, she just looked really great. And I liked her hair. I think what happens with Candy is she doesn't have much of a neck. So it's, you know, so like the hair, like she could do with a little bit more body in the hair, but I thought she looked beautiful.
Okay, my turn. Okay, I will say this. I will definitely say I was pleasantly surprised. I knew as soon as it ended that no matter what happened after that they were going to give her a win. Just because it was all the talk before the roast started was Candy doesn't have a win. I feel like the show has a tendency to show its hand. So I felt like, okay, she just earned her win regardless of how well anybody else does. It was a very shaking. I mean, there was actually a shot of her shaking it out and combing it. So I would say that it was shake and go. Here's my thing. I don't like, it's always picking and choosing. So if that was somebody that the show didn't necessarily like, it would have been said, you're wearing a shake and go wig and a dress from TJ Maxx. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying she didn't look good. She looked good. But it's always the hypocrisy that I have issues with. Because I feel like when they want to pull those cards, they'll pull them. When they don't want to pull them, they're fine. It was okay. I did not think she deserved the win. There were two other people that were hands down, like, again, she was good. But like, Gottmik, if I had never seen Gottmik before, I would have thought she had been doing stand-up for decades. Her timing, the way she delivered those, I don't even think I could do it that well. Like, she did it so well for someone who's never done it before. I mean, it was good. It was good. Next up was Simone. Simone looked good, as she always does. It was rough. It's, again, stand-up is hard. Doesn't this is an excuse, but it's hard. Who wants to go first?
I do. I think this is where not a lot of stage experience does come into play on a show like Drag Race. You have to be somewhat comfortable on the stage in these bigger challenges, like a roast. And I think that she hasn't had those skills tested. Now she has, and I think, you know, it was crickets. It was crickets during filming. I mean, it was like you could just feel the tension of a bad performance. You know what I mean? You know the feeling where everyone in the room is just silent and no one moves.
Why did you look at me when you said that, Nina?
I was letting you know that it's never happened to you You're good, Lorayne. You're good.
Thank you. Thank you.
But I thought she looked amazing. Gigi Good's mother did the gown. I think
nice.
she looked stunning. And she's just so beautiful. And in my opinion, since we're talking about Simone, I think the crown is Simone's to lose, honestly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree.
100%. I just think, and this was a really big, unfortunate setback.
Yeah.
But hopefully not too big of a setback for her to lose the crown.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Jackie, what did you think of Simone?
What's funny was, so last week, Jayla made a comment on this podcast that she didn't think what Simone was doing was branding. Because she said funny queen with the shoulders, like this little shoulder thing that she does, is not a brand. And I agree with that. I think she's funny, but I think, that the jokes that she had been doing up until now don't necessarily translate to a roast. And so she had been trying to segue the funny that she had used up until this point to get her here, to the top 6. And it just completely bombed because it doesn't really work in a roast, because the roast is more what you're saying than kind of like a funny movement or a funny voice or impression or something like that. So unless she was gonna fully commit to a certain type of character, I was just I was already seeing in the rehearsals how that train was getting derailed as it happened.
Yeah.
Because it's so that sort of thing is so reliant on getting those zingers and just having them come out. And she didn't seem to be having that, but I agree with Nina though. I mean, just because she didn't do well in this one, the crown is still hers to lose, she's consistently one of the best dressed, most amusing people to watch.
Jackie, I will say to that, I think we're at the point in the competition where to be in those shoes of those contestants, they're going a mile a minute. They're so everything, you're so sensitive to everything. And I think that she most likely, and it tracks, I think, for everybody who's been on the show, at this point in the competition, everybody's in their head. And you're freaking out and I think what she did was she self-sabotaged. You brought it up, you saw it in the rehearsal, and she just fumbled the ball. She couldn't get out of her own head. Yeah. She got in her own way, which is how people lose Drag Race. You get in your own way.
Ollie, what did you want to add about Simone?
Yeah, it's really hard to see her fumble this late in the game. I think she's so talented. She's a talented actor. When she's given a script, in the past challenges, she does amazing. And yes, it is kind of the same character that Jayla brought up, but she's still really funny. But then when she has to create her own character or theme or jokes and the roast, you see her fumble and fall. It's almost as if she needs some kind of already created content in order to perform. And I think that's her weakness. And I was always wondering at the beginning of the season, I'm like, damn, Simone can do everything. She can kill it. She has a look, she has the performance, but I think maybe her weakness is having to create something original. I'm sorry if you hear my dog in the background. She's going off. I don't know if she's disagreeing with us. She's watching us in the chat. I don't know. Can you hear her?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go let her out. But yeah, those are my thoughts on Simone. I'll be right back. She is angry.
Child abuse. I was gonna say, like I said earlier, I actually watched with Heidi, and she actually said something about Simone that I'm assuming I can repeat this. I don't think it's anything bad or anything, but she made a good point. She's like, sometimes the people that are front runners or people that are doing really well in the competition need to be in the bottom. They need to have that little kick in the ass and look,
fire.
You're not exempt. Yes, you've done well all this time, but you need to prove yourself all the time. You need to be on it all the time. So I thought that was a good point too that she made about that. Next up, whoa, ladies and gentlemen, going down in history as one of the worst performances in Drag Race history, Utica Queen. I watched actually last night Trixie and Monet's recap. of this episode, and they were both saying, they both actually said, it was bad, but was it my least favorite? No, because it got to the point where it was so bad that it became good.
I don't know about that.
I know. I just wanted to share that information. I don't know that I agree with that either. Go ahead, Nina. What did you think of Utica?
It was really uncomfortable, and I think that, and not knowing the information that I found out when I watched the episode, that she was told not to use that material,
Okay.
or to change the material, or learn how to be more playful with the material. Calling people fat or using your hands as an expression, was just really, I think, too low, below the belt. And it was really, you want to talk about uncomfortable, it was really uncomfortable. But she did give us one of the most epic moments probably of Drag Race history as well, when she asked RuPaul to stand up. And so that's going to be forever one of the greatest moments from the show.
And just because I don't know if everybody knows this, the reason she asked RuPaul to stand, I'll say it so you don't get in trouble, Nina.
We all know it. She's like sitting there untucked. It's like,
well, she had sweatpants on. She had taken a break, so she came back with sweatpants on and was sitting there in sweatpants. So that's why Utica asked her to stand up, to show that she wasn't. But
she's 50 years old and it's her show, so it's like.
I mean, yeah, she's not being judged, so she can do whatever the hell she wants to do.
Yeah.
Right. Ollie?
Utica's performance, I mean, I'm a broken record. It was so cringeworthy, and it's really hard. It just, oh God, it makes you just know. I hate cringeworthy comedy to begin with, and I just didn't understand why she didn't want to. Obviously, I think Nina, you already talked about it. She's a young queen. She's kind of like, no, this is my comedy. I'm gonna do it. And kind of backtracking, I didn't even bring this up in the oh my God, it was just so cringeworthy to watch her kind of like go after Loni in the rehearsals. I wanted to just fast forward it. And when that happens in like any kind of TV show that you just love, you know, as a viewer, as a fan of the show, and also of Utica, it just is disappointing. And I hope she learned her lesson throughout all of this, because
she did. She tweeted like that she was apologetic for her performance. So I think she did.
Yeah.
And it's, I did think, I was like, oh, maybe she's going to do well, because she came in with that one, like, oh, I thought I had the balls to like bomb a performance. She was talking about Simone, and she didn't. So I was like, okay, she did not have a change of heart with her comedy. So it was just really disappointing, unfortunately, because, you know, you like you said, Lorayne, we want to see these queens do well, you know, and unfortunately that was not the case with Miss Utica at all.
And I want to say, you know, like Ollie, to your point too, like I want to say crafting a roast, as you know, as people know who've done comedy, crafting a roast is its own kind of brilliant maneuvering and approach. Being funny in a roast to someone and calling out their flaws, or making jokes about something we all might know about or aware of in a story, is a skill. Yeah. And basically what they were calling to attention was, you do not have the nuance of the humor. We're not in on the joke when you're being mean. Being mean and being like, it's very, you know what I mean? Like there's ways to say what she was saying in a funny way that would not be offensive.
Yeah. Right.
And
sorry, go ahead.
No, and she just, and I think she thought it's just the low-hanging fruit. She went for low-hanging fruit without any nuance or intelligence on how to craft the joke. And that's the truth.
And it's just interesting, kind of like real quick, I just think of like how the show kind of plants those seeds. I think of like in Untucked, a couple episodes, Rosé talked about how Utica was like doing all these mean jabs with some of her reading challenges that we didn't see, or she just didn't do. And then also just kind of like her shadiness with Olivia in the past. So it's just interesting how they like place those little seeds. You know, the show is just like really, really smart. Kind of like looking back, I'm like, oh, this was our warning. This was some foreshadowing. Oh, I see you. But yeah, it's funny.
Well, I think you said this, Nina, too, the fact that you had a moment with Loni and Michelle, who specifically said, do not do that. and then you do it. Like, come on, girl. Come on. Next up was my favorite and who I think should have hands down won this challenge. Gottmik was next on the board. Go ahead, Jackie. What did you think of Gottmik?
Oh, I thought she was really good. She had one of my favorite. I mean, the reason I gave Candy the edge is because I thought Candy had consistently like what I think of with a roast, where it's like bang, 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 like all these jokes coming out. Mm-hmm. To me, for Mick, it was like, it was great to see her so confident. It was great to see where I feel like she might go from here. Like she was saying she was so afraid to do a roast, and now here she is doing a good job at it. But for me, like there were only a couple jokes where I like really laughed out loud. And the one obviously was the one with Ross coming when the pizza was delivered in the porno, which is like, I just died. I thought it was so funny. And you could tell Ross thought it was funny, you know? And that's the other thing is like, you have to make sure there's certain celebrities who there are things about themselves that they joke about. So like Ross jokes about like food a lot. Like that's a lot of his humor. So you have been invited into that, to making that joke because Ross makes that joke, you know? Like, so if you're just looking at someone and saying, oh, you're fat, like, A, that's not even funny. Like there's no joke in there. And, you know, with there's no joke in there. And like that person has not made that. I mean, you know, I've not heard Loni Love like say anything like that on the show. So it's like, you're not even invited into that joke. It's like Ru makes fun of her age all the time. So again, you're invited in to make age jokes about Ru. It's kind of like, this is a situation where it's also reading the room. It's like, you kind of know who these people are. Maybe you could assess that situation.
Yeah. Ollie?
Yeah, and then I'm surprised I don't think anyone did anything on Ross's voice. Like Ross always jokes about Ross's very high voice. I'm someone with a very high voice, so I totally get it. And like, that's just something that's like reading the room, like Jackie said. I thought Gottmik, I almost thought Gottmik was gonna win. I almost wish it was longer. My only critique of Gottmik, she did great, but like, I don't know, something about like her, I read a little bit of nervousness with Gottmik. And I think I believe that just a little bit because she was even nervous like before, like coming up with the jokes and like in the workroom, she was like, this was the challenge I did not want to do. So I just kind of like felt like a little bit of nervousness from her that maybe prevented her from winning this week. But I don't know if anyone else got that, but I loved her jokes. I loved her jokes so much. I loved the Ross pizza joke. It was super, super fun. And yeah.
Nina, what do you think of Gottmik?
I really thought the challenge was Mick or Candy after I saw it. And in person, I didn't know who won until I watched the episode. So I really thought Mick walked away with the win, but I understand now seeing how I think Candy won. I think Mick, one of the things I love about Mick, and this is like a season long love, is the fact that Mick is so confident and at ease in their own skin, and it reads so loudly. They're able to quickly respond on the runway and to be fun and be like, and, you know, be like play back and forth with RuPaul. I've not seen that a lot in many of these seasons. Bianca Del Rio's someone who like comes to mind being just so readily accessible to joke and play with the judges in a really, you know, like appealing way. And Mick has done it in the workroom, on the main stage, and it translates in the roast. And I think that's why I think if Simone loses, it's going to be to Mick.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I said it earlier. I think she was my favorite. I didn't get nervousness at all, Ollie. But you know, that not saying that you didn't see something, you know, something that I didn't see. Also, too, let's not forget, if I'm not mistaken, Gottmik won the reading challenge as well. So
yes, she did.
I think that maybe she's better at this than she doesn't really realize that she is. Olivia was next.
And Gottmik won Snatch Game. So that's like, that's another one where you have to be like quick on your feet.
Yeah, very true. Olivia was next. Any thoughts on Miss Olivia Lux?
Olivia, even though like, I think she was, this was the problem with her commercial is she kind of went at it a bit too timidly. But I still think she had one of the funniest jokes of the night, which was Mama Ru is so old she signed the Declaration of Independence as parent guardian. I fell off my chair. I thought that was so funny.
Nina, you were there for Olivia.
I didn't. Again, I'm gonna give you my impression. I didn't really connect when I saw it live. I didn't connect with the characterization or this. I'm a good girl, kind of like sauntering up to the like walking up to the podium really like nervously, and I'm nice, I can't be mean. I would have loved to see her like do that little step up and then rip everybody a new one and then go see and like then sit down. That's how she could have won that roast and it would have been epic. You know what I mean? But
absolutely.
I feel that was the biggest ball drop of the night.
Yeah.
In terms of opportunity.
Yeah.
I don't think she was the worst, but she had the opportunity was there because everyone loves her.
Yeah.
To go for it.
Right. Ollie, what'd you think of Miss Olivia Lux?
Yeah, I don't know. I've been worried about her for a while because I think she won two challenges, and I'm like, damn, Olivia is killing it. And now I feel like we're seeing the downfall of her. It's very unfortunate because she's definitely, despite kind of like her downfall, she's starting to grow on me in a weird way, So it's just sad to kind of see someone who did so well earlier in the competition do so bad. I wasn't a fan. Like Nina said, I think you could kind of play that character of like being super nice, but also having that capability of having like super ruthless, but not really like horrible jokes like Utica. She tried, not the worst. I think we know who was going to be in the bottom.
Yeah.
She tried it. She tried, she did her best, but yeah.
And then we wrapped up the roast up with Rosé, who I actually, I think, was it Loni on the panel that said, I thought you were funny in rehearsal? And that's exactly what I thought. And I didn't put my finger on it until Loni said it. And then I went, yeah, that's what it was. I thought she was great. Again, she had just the rhythm of how a roast is done, which there is like a rhythm. It's like music. Comedy is like music. It's got a rhythm, and she nailed that. I thought she looked really good too. I liked the outfit. I know some people didn't like it. I actually really liked the outfit. I don't know. I said last week I'm starting to warm up to Rosé more. I thought she was good. Ollie, what did you think of Rosé?
I like their outfit too. It was very Gem and the Holograms.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of like not her like aesthetic, but it's something that I can see like Rosé go hand in hand with.
Yeah.
To me, like I said this earlier, I thought she was the most professional. Like maybe not as personable as like Candy, but she was just like Rosé, like there was no nervousness, there was no like stuttering. And I loved her joke to Heidi. And also shout out to Heidi. Heidi was like stealing the show. She wasn't even doing any jokes until the end, but like Heidi's reactions to everything was just so freaking also very memeable. I'm seeing all these Ru memes, but where's the Heidi memes?
Yeah.
I just love how Heidi was just like playing along. She was like, I don't even know how to spell that word at one point, but yeah, I was just dying from Heidi, but Rosé really did a great job.
Yeah. Jackie, what'd you think of Rosé?
I agree with you on what Loni Love said. It's like she seemed fresher in the rehearsal, but that's not to say that this was bad at all. Like it was good. It's just the problem is we were invited into the rehearsal to see it. Like I don't know, Nina, if you'll have a different take because you didn't see them rehearse until later when it aired. But once you've been invited into both of those things, you're like, I kind of wish she did the rehearsal one, but she still has this great stage presence that, she's never going to really bomb because she can go out there and hold a room.
Yeah. Nina, what did you think of her?
Michelle called her Bianca Del Rio. I don't agree. I love Rosé. I saw in the comments, like, if you're over 40, you get her outfit. I got her outfit, and I didn't like her outfit. I was like, I felt like I was getting ready to go see like a Prince tribute band perform. It was like very that to me, and like very like Vanity or like New Power Generation. I was like, I mean, it's like of an era. It was just an interesting choice for this. So I don't know if that's just because they didn't have wardrobe left. I mean, they're going down to wardrobe, like they only have so much. Yeah. I will say, and Jackie, I'm glad you brought it up. I thought Rosé was great in the room, seeing the sets. She was really good. Rosé is a professional. She knows how to land a joke. She knows how to drive the car or the audience to where she's going. To me, she just didn't. There was something off, and I didn't think she won it. I thought it was like, oh, she's in the top. Yeah, but I didn't think she won the roast. Like, really, to me, it was between Mick or Candy. So now seeing the rehearsal, it's like, oh, she just had a different ease with it in rehearsal, because maybe she thought, well, this isn't this isn't the final, so I can kind of be a little more relaxed with it. And she does, as we know, tend to really tense up. And I think that did, while she's been relaxing these last few episodes, and I've been warming up to her as well, I think she tensed up again during the challenge, which was less tense than prior. So tension.
Yeah. I don't know that I would have. I don't know. I guess just because I think so much of Rosé's that she's worn so far, I was kind of like, what are you doing? That maybe for me, this was just kind of like, oh, okay, I can take that. I mean, when you're used to not liking something, then you're like, oh, okay. Oh, this one is decent. Like, I don't know that it's the best thing I've ever seen, but
As someone who had a questionable track record of their wardrobe on the runway of RuPaul's Drag Race, I feel like I'm allowed to be I can be a little bit more critical and get away with it, because my outfits were shit. So I can say this, confidently, that like there's one outfit she wore that I thought she looked like a loofah. I was like, what is this outfit? It's like, you are beautiful, you've got an incredible body, and why do you look like a square?
Yeah. I think my biggest issue with her is that pump she's always wearing. Like, it's always that same little pump, and it just drives. I wear a pump. I'm not saying I don't wear pumps, because now next time somebody sees me in a pump, they're gonna go, you're wearing a pump. I'm not saying anything against pumps, but it's like, again, I feel like you got to mix it up. Come with a couple pairs of shoes that don't look the same. And then
I agree with Nina though on the shape. Though I've been having a problem with a lot of the shape of Rosé's outfit. Maybe I think tonight, like, because she wasn't wearing like a loofah shape, I was responding positively to that.
It had the silhouette was great, and it would. I've noticed, like, a lot of her designs throughout the season have stuff on the shoulders, like the bagpipes or like the tulle, or it's very that. And it's like, I don't know if that's an area I would be accentuating as much as, like, because you're like, whatever. Yeah,
no, I agree 1,000%. And then the roastees got to be roasters, right? Did I say that right? Mm-hmm. So I loved the Bronx Zoo joke, Nina. I thought that was absolutely hysterical. And Heidi's fuck you. Yeah, so forget. Was there more to what you guys did that didn't get aired?
Yeah, I mean, I had a whole set.
Okay.
I had a full set, and I think at one point I even replied to Utica in whale. I was like, I had a full set. That was what Heidi said. Then that is what Valentina said, and then they're like, Nina, you do a set. And so I did a set.
Okay.
And I got one joke in.
That's great. So that was the roast. I mean, I almost wish they would have let Loni do a little something in there too. That would have been a fun little twist on it.
Well, she had that "you're the one bombing" to you.
Yeah.
Oh my God, I love seeing that.
That was a moment. That was a moment. Okay, just to remind everybody who's listening or watching, if you get a moment, please like this video, share this video, tell your friends about us. Also, if you listen to us on iTunes, please go in and write a review for us. Give us 5 stars, and if you give us 5 stars, you'll be fan of the week. We have a very low bar for fan of the week here. So that just
5 stars. You could write utter gibberish.
You can write that I look like crap every week and I shouldn't have this job. But if you give us 5 stars, you're our gal. All right, just
Or
as
guy.
or guy. Just as a recap, the tops this week were Candy, Gottmik, and Rose. And the bottoms were Utica, Olivia, and Simone. So because we're at 6, everybody's now getting critiqued and everything like that. Actually, last week, everybody got critiqued as well with 7. There was nobody safe. It ended up being Candy's to win. Candy won. Ended up being Utica and Simone in the bottom, who lip sank to No Tears Left to Cry by Ariana Grande. And I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter, but Miss Ariana Grande now has the most number of songs lip synced to on RuPaul's Drag Race. And she tweeted out and responded to it. It was very sweet. So I just thought I'd throw that in there since we're talking about it. So Shantae, Simone stays, and Utica had to sashay away. 5 queens remain. Next week on RuPaul's Drag Race, the queens will be starring in Hanny, I Shrunk the Drag Queen. With looks like a video visit from Scarlett Johansson, which I think will be fun. Now, they showed the guest judge, but I don't know who it was. Does anybody know who?
Cynthia Erivo.
Who is it?
Oh, Broadway star.
Oh, okay.
She was in
Color Purple on Broadway.
Yeah, she was in the movie Harriet, and she was
she was in the movie
Harriet. Okay.
He was nominated for writing the song for she's a singer-songwriter, so she was nominated for writing the song for Harriet. She didn't win, I don't believe. And then she played in The Color Purple on Broadway.
Awesome. I just didn't know who I saw it. And I was like, I don't know who that is.
I hope they pick one of her songs. I'm just gonna say, I hope they pick one of her songs to lip sync to.
Yeah, that'll be
sometimes
fun.
they don't do that though. They'll have like somebody there who's a singer, and they'll be like, "Here's this inexplicable other song," and you're like, "Wait, what?"
They probably couldn't get the rights.
Yeah.
But that person's sitting there. How did they not get the rights?
Yeah,
record company.
Technicality. All right, so we'll wrap up with this. The last part of the show is our special segments. We're going to talk about some mirror moments in the show, fan of the week, quote of the week, and then news and gossip. And then we'll spend some time asking Nina a couple questions if she doesn't mind.
Yeah.
So our first part, the mirror moments. Mirror moments for us is like those moments where you guys are getting ready and there's like these, like they're talking about family, they're talking about things they've been through, that kind of stuff. There wasn't really a lot of there wasn't like any like one particular person was like telling their story, but there was a lot of talk this week about growth of the queens on the competition. Gottmik talks about how much she's grown and hiding behind her white paint, how she felt like she used to always hide behind that white paint. Now she doesn't anymore. Rose talked about, turning over a new leaf, shedding a new layer. Utica talks about herself and things. I just thought it was interesting that they're all, and Nina, you can talk to this too. I think there is, I think the girls that end up doing well and end up going to the end are the ones that do make these realizations during the show. Is like, oh, I can do this. I'm more than just that, Would you agree, Miss Nina West?
Yes, I would. Yeah, the mirror moments it's really interesting because you only have so much time to get ready.
Yeah.
And so when everyone's talking and you're like trying to paint and you're trying to multitask, tell a story, get ready in a very short period of time, it can be, I found those times almost the most overwhelming because it's like, I want to look as good as I can look for the runway.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that the audience wants to fall in love with people. They want to root for you, like you said, like Ollie said. They want to root for you.
Yeah.
And the only ways they can know who you are is if you tell them who you are.
Yeah.
And so it's really important to talk during those moments.
Yeah.
You'll notice on every season, the queens who don't talk, you're just like, okay, well, I don't remember who that is, or I don't care. I'm in love with mix where I'm in like I have feelings about. I really like, I really dislike, whatever, because I'm just seeing who they are. Those mirror moments are integral for the success of somebody on the show.
Right. Also, there was a visit from the honorees in Untucked as well. They got to come in and invade the room. I love that Heidi came right in and said, "Who's going home?" Because because in my opinion, when they all go into Untucked and they're like, "Who do you think's in the bottom?" Blah blah. I think what the real question is who do you guys think is going home? I think Heidi just said it. So I noticed that nobody really, well, no, they switched it. Then they were like, well, what do you mean? Who's in the bottom? But I love that it took you guys coming in the room to kind of be like, no, we want to know the tea, what's going on. And then you guys also asked who you thought would be Miss Congeniality. I think Simone pointed to Olivia. I don't know, online I see Tamisha Iman's name thrown around for Miss Congeniality. And there have been queens like Cynthia Lee Fontaine won Miss Congeniality, and she was only in like 3 episodes or 4 episodes, something like that. So it's possible for Tamisha. It'll be interesting. Who do you guys think will be Miss Congeniality? Any thoughts?
I think it'll be Olivia. It's not that I don't like Olivia. It's just that I'm so obsessed with Tamisha. I want her to get something. I would like that for her because I'm such a huge fan. I do like Olivia, so I'm not going to be mad if Olivia got it. And obviously she had more time on the season, but that's just my thoughts.
Nina, as a Miss Congeniality, who do you think seemed very congenial?
Well, I mean, Olivia seems like the obvious choice. I think it could, the cast votes on it now. And so, it's really going to be interesting to see, if the fans voted on it, I think Olivia would get it. I don't know who the cast, how they interact with one another. Janali also stands out to me as being someone who I want to see have something, if that's an all-star run, like for Tamisha as well, or if it's Congeniality, I don't know. But I think Olivia's going to get Congeniality.
Yeah. Ollie?
I'm so surprised. I really do think, personally, I think Tamisha will get it. Or no, sorry. Personally, I want Tamisha to get it. Yeah. But I think it'll be maybe Utica getting it. Oh, wait. Oh, wait. I'm sorry. I'm thinking if the fans.
Congeniality? Utica
no.
Just left.
No. Let me finish. Let me finish. I'm sorry. I just realized that the cast picks it. The cast does pick it. You guys said this. I'm sorry, guys. I've been drinking. Okay, so if the fans were to vote, I honestly think Utica would get it. I personally want.
You do not think Utica would get it?
I think
you do not.
I think Utica will get it because these fans, let me tell you, they stan Utica. They've been really with even with Utica's jokes, they're oh, Utica was just she said she saw. They are it's one of those super toxic fandom thingies. The fans will still. They love the white. They love the white queens, honey. They love the white queens.
They like skinny white queens.
Skinny white queens. Yeah. I really think if the fans voted, it would go to Utica. But since the cast is voting, maybe it will be Olivia. But I was thinking I think if the cast votes, I maybe Tamisha. But Tamisha didn't have a whole lot of time to bond with the rest of the cast. So maybe now they're
can I throw my hat into the ring for Lala? I would think Lala's another one who was.
Yes.
Thinking that too. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. We like Lala. We don't like her purse handbag outfit, but we like Lala.
I was okay with that. But I always say I'm all about a person. I don't care what you're wearing on stage. I just want you to entertain me. I will forget about what you were wearing tomorrow. I want to be entertained. That's just the most important thing to me as a person, as Mark. That's what I want. So then I said when we would talk about it, it appears when the letters got left for Utica, that Utica and Olivia have agreed to go on a date after.
I have so many questions about this. First off, she's backstage saying I don't think Olivia's ready. She's done this once, more than one time, said something in a confessional about Olivia. And now she's then I asked her out on a date. I'm wait, what? She's the person you said the most things about switched around and not to her face, and then got called out on it, and now you're asking her on a date. I don't know. I'm just so confused. And then because I was like further intrigued, I was like trying to see if they had actually dated, and I couldn't figure it out. Sorry, I was just flabbergasted.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't know anything. I'd never heard anything about it, and so it'll be interesting. I'm sure it'll be discussed at the reunion, if there is a reunion.
I'm sure there will be. They just have to sit far apart and with no audience.
Or they could do it digitally as well.
Yeah.
All right. Next up is my quote of the week. This week's quote. I wrote down several, and I'm gonna make myself choose one now. I think everybody agrees that Loni Love's "You're the One Bombing" was absolutely hysterical, and that even though it should be quote of the week, I'm gonna give it to somebody else because that's gonna do well on its own. But I'm gonna give it to somebody who didn't do so well this week, but actually said something funnier in the episode. Was when Simone was in the confessional, and she said, "The only roasts I've seen are in my mother's crock pot." And I literally laughed out loud. So that'll be my quote of the week this week. Jackie, do you have the fan of the week?
Yes, I have a couple. So Mr. J. Michael J.A. said this season has some of the best sets of lip syncs collectively. There hasn't been a terrible one yet. And this is Diego Dash on iTunes. Remember, guys, we're also on iTunes, so please comment and rate us there. It says, "I love Mark because he has polarizing opinions. Jayla is so funny. Jackie is cute and lovable." And they like Ollie's Instagram, so they like a thirst Instagram. I'm just saying it. I
can't do that no more because my mom made an Instagram just saying this. I can't post certain things anymore. Just saying. But thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you, Mom.
All right, just a couple of little news and gossip things.
I had one more fan. Two more. I won't read their comments, but I'm just going to say Daniel McLaughlin and Christina Johnson, you're also fans of the week. Thank you for commenting.
And I also subscribe to our channel, I noticed. So I recognize those names. Some news and gossip, other than Ollie's starting a new Instagram.
His OnlyFans has the other stuff.
Exactly. We're trying. You guys, we're trying to get on. So Raven has a new makeup competition that will be coming on. There's casting right now. If you head over to worldofwonder.com/makeup casting, if you're interested in applying to be America's next makeup superstar. I saw this. I'm actually friends with CJ, who is good friends with Ross Mathews. And it looks like Celebrity Family Feud will be having Team Ross Mathews dropping this summer. So keep an eye out for that this summer. I also saw Tez from Drag Race UK is now the new face of Coca-Cola in England, which I thought was amazing for her. Congratulations to Tez. We love us some Tez. And also, if you didn't see, she posted this on her Instagram, I think. You can watch it on YouTube. She actually did a cooking tutorial on how to make beans on toast. So please go over and check out her beans on toast video because I laughed and loved every moment of it. We have in the description on YouTube, Ollie and I did a 2-part recap of Drag Race UK Season 2. So if you're watching that and you want to watch our recap on that, that link is in the both links are in the bio. We did it in a 2-part series because it was running at the same time as this. Also in the description is Tez's interview with Tamisha Iman, my interview with Karen from Finance, who will be on Drag Race Down Under. That was my interview with her the same year. I interviewed Nina West at DragCon 2019. And I also added the link to that in the bio too. If you want to watch my interview with Miss Nina West from DragCon, that is in there as well. Nina, do you have anything coming up that you want to tell the fans about?
I've got a lot coming up that I can't talk about, but it's going to be good.
Okay.
Keep your eyes peeled. The podcast, my podcast, Dragcast with Nina West is coming back. We've taken a slight hiatus. Yeah, so there's some more stuff coming.
And if you guys who are listening still with us, write some questions in the chat room if you have, Nina, if you have a couple more minutes. We'll just go around and I'll let Ollie and Jackie ask questions. And if there's some questions in the chat room, I'll read some out if we have time. Jackie, is there anything you would like to ask Ms. Nina West?
Yes, Nina, you kind of touched on this earlier when you said, there wasn't much going on during COVID. And so, this is one of the only things you did. I know that a lot of queens, like I know Lorayne did this where they did like digital shows. Mm-hmm. How has it been trying to adjust? I mean, in the US, like we have a lot of international viewers, so they might not know how bad it got in the US, but it seems like some of us in LA, we just have been shut down for what seems like over a year. Other states have had like rolling shutdowns where it's like you shut down, then you open, then you shut down, and you open. So, I know like it's it's been really rough. So I was just wondering like what you've been doing and how are things going?
Yeah, so I was touring and I was in New York City when they shut Broadway down. I was going to the opening of a Broadway show, Six the Musical, and it was supposed to open the night that they shut down the Broadway on March 13th. And I was afraid that Trump was gonna ground all flights. So I tried to get home, get on a flight and get back to Columbus. And so that was like a Thursday. And then it was like that weekend, I just sat back and was like, what the hell am I gonna do? Like, how long is this gonna last? What am I gonna do? And so I think on that Monday or Tuesday, I started doing story times on my YouTube channel for kids and families. And then I just thought, well, like what else can I do? One of the things I wanted to talk about is the fact that Ohio didn't have we had really strict restrictions at first, and then they started to lift, and I just didn't feel comfortable going out. In fact, like I went out for the first time last night, but I had both of my vaccine shots, so it's like, and I was masked, but I didn't feel comfortable. I just didn't feel safe. And I also didn't want to give the wrong impression that I think that it's okay for people to like, I really firmly believe that you shouldn't have FOMO, you should take care of yourself. You should like lead by example. And also to what Ollie talked about a little bit earlier in the podcast was the fandom can be toxic, and I wanted to be very careful with my relationship with the fandom and be very mindful that it was my responsibility to be responsible. I had to be aware of the impressions that I was making to protect myself, to protect others, but also I have a 20-year career in drag, and I was not willing to lose it for the criticism of going on a stage and performing. I just couldn't risk it. I could not risk it. So legitimately last night was my first time I'd gone into an establishment in a year and some change. Yeah.
But it's good that you have your podcast picking up now. And so I want to segue my second part of the question into kind of a more positive note. Before we got on air, I was saying one of the things that we actually all saw you at DragCon, was it 2019? Yes, yeah. 2019. So I was wondering if there's anything that you're looking forward to when hopefully like things get better and people are vaccinated and things open up. Is there something specifically that you're like, oh, can't wait to do this, I
can't wait to sit in an audience and have a communal experience of a live show with other people. Seeing theater or seeing a drag show, or that to me those are my favorite. And I think that's the thing I've been missing the most. Yeah, I've done a lot of like virtual events. I've watched a lot of virtual events. It's just not the same. Like the energy of being in a room with somebody and watching it and experiencing it and processing it together is the best.
I do want to say congratulations to you because I saw you post recently about Storytime with Nina being like the 1 year anniversary.
Yeah.
So congratulations on that, because I think despite, like I am completely the same way. I love the digital. It's been helping us get through quarantine, but there's nothing more than like going to Mickey's sometimes maybe seeing Lorayne perform, you know, but like you just seeing a queen and tipping them and just everyone like singing along to a song, but like we needed that digital content as well. So congratulations on that. But what are your like, what's your advice on like to people who want to create that content and just like sticking to it? Because you did like over 100 story times, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Like
Yeah,
for over a year in quarantine.
It's really hard because initially I had this sense of I need to do this for myself to stay creative, and then I was like, what? Why am I doing this? Like no, it feels like nobody's watching. Like, am I just doing it for myself? You know, like why am I doing this? And then it was like I need to do this. Like so for me, it was an outlet and a resource, and that provided my consistency. It wasn't until I think maybe around the holiday season time where I was like, other people need this as much as I need it to. And I'd already been several months in on working on it. So I think the biggest thing that you can do if you want to, first and foremost, is like create content that you respond to, that you would want to click on, that you would want to watch, that you would want to consume. That's the kind of content you should be creating. It's the stuff that you love and you want to do. Also, then you'll be interested in wanting to do it and producing it and being a part of it. You know, I've known Mark for years. And one thing I know about Mark is Mark doesn't do anything that he doesn't want to like see himself. You know, and Mark is a great example. Lorayne is a great example of doing the thing that you love, creating things that you love. That is what people are going to respond to. If you're watching a TikTok and you're like, oh, this is the trend, I need to do this trend. And it's just not, it's just like that. That's a minute example of an investment into a YouTube series or a YouTube channel, whatever it is, right? But if it just isn't vibing with you, don't do it. Don't give it your time. Just because it's successful for Trixie doesn't mean it's going to be successful for Aquaria, you know, and like, or for you in whatever town you're in, and you admire these people. So like, create the content you like consuming. I think that's the most important thing, and I think you'll do it.
Well,
sorry, could I just on to the children's book thing? Stephanie in the chat is asking, will you eventually write a children's book? So I just wanted to get that because it seems like it's a popular thing now in the chat.
That is a huge hope of mine. That is like, thanks, Stephanie. I really appreciate that. That's a really huge hope of mine. I think, you know, as I said, Mark knows me really well. I've known Mark for years. I've always been drawn to this part of my creativity. You know, working in that space is really important to me, and it's more. And for me, it's the responding to the need of LGBTQIA+ parents who may not have all of the resources that they want to have, and I think it's always been my goal. So, the fingers crossed. I'll hopefully get to do a kids book. That is absolutely the goal. So.
Yeah. Well, when we obviously we were doing these at Afterbuzz at the studio and all the stuff, you know, that's what Afterbuzz is. But when COVID happened, we did start, they were letting us, we were still doing them, but doing them from home. And then they kind of just like, you know what, this is taking up, I don't know. They made the decision to stop doing Afterbuzz during quarantine. So actually the reason we all decided to start this channel was like what you said, Nina, is people needed something, you know, because we were in the middle of All Stars 5 when COVID happened. And we were like, well, we still have like 3 more episodes. We don't want to just end. So we were like, well, let's put our own YouTube together. Let's do this. And so and now, you know, this one came around. So we're like, okay, well, let's use our own platform. Let's do this, you know, let's keep doing it. And I'll say this has gotten me through so much, you know, just being able to, you know, prepare for the shows, you know, come up with a new look, you know, to do, you know, it's easier to get, Nina, you can attest. It's easier when I'm just getting ready from here up than today I am padded, ladies
and gentlemen. Just like RuPaul.
She's padded.
Stand up. Stand up. Yes.
And she's closeted. She is serving the body.
I just took my shoes off. I did have my shoes on the whole time, but I just took them off. But yeah, I think that's a good point. I think, and I will say this too, is like we're starting to have some things open up here. So Morgan does a show in Long Beach Friday, Saturday. And I will tell you what, I went probably a month ago now. I kept seeing her posting about it. And I was like, you know what? I need to get out of the house. Like there are days where I'm just like, I can't be in here alone anymore. And I went, and I can't tell you what that did for me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, not because it was people I knew. It was just the fact that I got to be out in public and see live perform. Like, I literally was like high all the way home, driving home, because I was so glad to, and now I keep going. Like every week, if I can go, I go. You know, I have my fur babies that I have responsibilities, so sometimes I can't go down and leave them. But when I can go, I'm there now. I love it. I love every minute of it. I also wanted to just say, when I was talking through news and gossip, some people in the chat mentioned Drag Race International. I didn't mention it this week. I mentioned it a couple weeks ago. I do know that there is talk of it. There hasn't been anything official yet. So that's one reason why I didn't really mention it. And it is different. The Drag Race International, which is different drag race seasons like Canada, UK, Holland, US, competing against each other, is different from Queen of the Universe, which will be a drag queen singing competition. So yes, that I did. I didn't mention either of those because there's really not much more to tell. So that's one reason I didn't mention those. There are a couple other things in the chat room. I thought this was an interesting question, Nina, for you. This is from Amber in the chat.
Hi, Amber.
She says, what is your favorite RuPaul's Drag Race season to watch other than your own?
Season 6, hands down.
Yeah.
Or All Stars 2, which is the only
I still like one, and I'm sticking to that. I liked
one is fine because they gave us it, but
yeah. Me and Ollie, we just recapped UK 2, and I don't know that I've ever enjoyed a season from start to finish as much as I enjoyed that one. And again, it did have its unique qualities because of COVID and it getting to go home and coming back, which I don't, obviously won't ever really happen on another season, barring another pandemic. But not that anyone asked my opinion. All right.
There's a lot of love for Nina in the chat. And then there was someone who said that Nina should run for Senate.
There is an open seat. There's an open seat in Ohio.
Yeah, there is an open seat in Ohio.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Wait, we could have a drag queen senator. We like that.
God,
Oh, this is a good question from Louis Manuel in the chat. Says, Nina, was there a season that you almost got cast on before 11?
I think it was season 7. If I can recall, there was a season I got really close, and then I took a break in auditioning. I took a year off because I felt really played with. I was like, and that's kind of the joke. Everyone has that joke about me. Oh, she auditioned, 9 times. It's like this read, and I'm like, you know what? Like you said, Lorayne, I'm so glad I didn't get on season 2 when I first auditioned, because it would have been a different career. It was just like, I wasn't ready.
Completely.
And it's exactly what the producers said to me when I got the call. They said, you're ready now. We want you now. Now is your time. It wasn't your time before.
Yeah.
And I had to, having done it, I now have to trust the process. It's one of those things. You got to trust the process. And I gave up on it. And this was a dream of mine. And I went back for it. And it happened. So I don't know. But I will tell you that story, I was really left with a really bad taste in my mouth after that near casting. I was like, and there was a season 2, a season as well, I should say. There was a season where Penny got on and Detox got on.
Yeah.
Is that season 5?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And we had all become friends by knowing we were all auditioning. Right. And so we were all kind of calling each other. Have you gotten a call? Have you gotten a call? Have you gotten a call? And that season, I never heard from them. And I was like, they just got on the show.
Yeah.
And sure enough, they got on the show. And I was like, our friendship of the 3, I was the one who didn't get it. So 6 seasons later.
I had almost the exact same thing happen to me with season 2, because they followed me around LA. I was performing a lot back then. And I would go and I would get done with the show. And this one girl from casting, Lisa, I know she's my friend on Facebook too still. She would pop out of the audience and come running over to me and go, please submit. And I was like, I don't know that I want to. I really just wasn't sure if I wanted to do it. I'm just the kind of person, I like to know more about it, just jumping into it. You know, I don't know. I still wasn't sure what it was going to be. And so finally one day she said, okay, if you can just film this, and this, I'll edit it and I'll submit it for you.
Oh, you told me this story, yeah.
And I was like, oh, that I can do. Okay, fine, because I'm in drag all the time. I'll just shoot this, blah, blah, blah. And then it was like what you said. Then when you didn't cast me, when you were begging me to do the show, I didn't submit for season 3 after that, because I was like, I really felt like, because I really truly felt they want me. They clearly want me on the show, because they wouldn't be showing up here begging me to audition if they didn't want me. So I took it personally. Obviously, I shouldn't have, but I did. And then that was funny too, because I did the same thing to Raven, because I messaged her going, hey, have you heard from them? And she was gone. She couldn't tell me. And so I had almost the exact same situation. So yeah.
I'm glad though that you guys are saying this though, because like a lot of times, you know, they've mentioned it once or twice in the show, but people don't realize how like long careers people have and how hard they work, not just for Drag Race, but to be in all sorts of different types of performances. So, so it's just a testament to your ability to say like, I have confidence in myself and I'm going to keep going, you know. And sometimes I know casting, it has to do with not just you, like who else are they casting? Yep. So they're like, well, maybe, you know, we have X slot left, but we know this person fights with this person, so we're slapping them together. You know, it could be something as simple as that. So
Coco and Alyssa. I mean, that's a great example. That's a great example.
Exactly. I need to pick more fights with drag queens. That's my plan. All right. I think that is all. We won't keep you any longer, Nina. We thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much for joining us.
Of course. Thank you. Thanks for doing this too. It's so much fun.
Love seeing you. Let's go around and tell everybody where you can be found on the social medias. Let's start with Ollie.
Yes, thank you so much, Nina, again for joining us. It means a lot to us.
Thank you.
You can follow me at I forgot my Twitter. You can follow me at Ollie Dreamer. Yes, there. Yeah.
Because I was looking in your eyes and going to your Twitter, your Instagram right now.
Blocked. No, I'm kidding. Just kidding.
Jackie,
you can find me at 123 Jackie B on all platforms.
Miss Nina West, where can they find you?
It's Nina West on Twitter, Instagram, and what's the other? And then it's like Nina West. It's like then someone took my name on other sites, so it's Nina West Official on TikTok and on YouTube. But my TikTok is like it's me doing weird things with my dogs.
You got to do something. Mine's lit. If I wish I could take a picture of what I can see right now. My Chihuahua is sitting in the hallway, literally staring at me because it's about DINNER time. So I literally see him right now. He's like, bitch, I know we're gonna get food. You can find me on Instagram and Twitter at Lorayne Love. It's LORAYNE LOVE. If you want to follow Mark, I can tell you right now, it's not as exciting. It's the Mark J. Freeman on all social media. Thank you everybody who joined. Sorry if we didn't get to your question. And thank everybody again, like, subscribe, share, and we will see you all next week for the final 5. Mwah. Love you all.